What's up guys, it's Alex here, your friendly reef dog, and today I'm going to address the elephant in the room with my tank. Why have I got a peninsula tank up against a wall? And I'm also going to tell you why you should do the same. Now if you're new to the channel, I put out a video like this every Friday at 4 PM UK time, which is 10 AM Central Time. So if you love reefing videos, have a think about subscribing. Right, let's take a look. When I chose this tank, it was a toss-up between this and the Red Sea Reefer 425 XL, but I decided to go for this because a peninsula tank has significant benefits over a normal tank, even when it's up against a wall. And I can see this being a really popular setup, so I've drawn up a list of 4 key benefits of having a peninsula tank against a wall instead of a normal tank. Number 4 is the location of the weir box. The standard Red Sea Reefer tanks have a weir box in the middle of the tank to hide the plumbing, and that is bang in the middle of your valuable aquascaping real estate. So you end up compromising on where you want to put the rocks or trying to cover the weir box itself with rocks. The Red Sea Peninsula tanks have the weir box at one end, which gives you 8 square feet of uninterrupted aquascaping space. That, combined with the fact that peninsula tanks are 2 feet wide, makes aquascaping much easier. And that's fantastic for beginners as well as seasoned pros. It means that your aquascape can be exactly how you want it with no compromise, and it will look fantastic from all angles as you'll be able to create gullies, swim-throughs, high rock piles and interesting angles. And that segues nicely into the next benefit. A peninsula tank suits the modern trend for pier-style aquascapes instead of islands or rock walls. The only limit here is your imagination, or the imagination of an aquascaping company like R&R Aquascapes. R&R recently created the rockscape for my fellow British YouTuber Aaron's Aquarium, and while I'm a huge fan of the scape, I think it would look even better in a peninsula tank. A carefully designed pier-style scape in a peninsula tank against a wall would be an absolute winner, and I can imagine a tank like that, once established and fully grown out, could be the envy of the reefing community. And if you take your time and use dry rock like real reef rock, there's no reason you can't create an amazing scape yourself. Number 2 is that you get an extra viewing angle. Scaping a normal tank is all about the front on view, and while you might find yourself spending a bit of time at the sides, 99% of your view time will be at the front, and you'll probably have power heads at either end obscuring any side on view. But with a peninsula tank against a wall, you prepare the aquascape with end on viewing firmly in mind, so you get to experience your reef from a unique angle that adds an extra dimension to your tank. And 4 feet of water, rocks and corals can be an amazing sight, particularly if you do a better job of the aquascape than I did. Being the furthest end away from the return nozzle and power heads, it's also the most calm area, so you'll find that many of your fish will hang out there. So setting up a chair at the end of the tank makes it feel like you're hanging out with the fish in their chill out room. And the number 1 reason is that seeing through 2 panels of glass looks absolutely bloody awesome. With a normal tank, your back panel is either black or blue, and that seems to absorb some of the light and reduces the clarity of your livestock. The back panel also gets covered in algae over time, which reduces the contrast between your corals and the rear panel, and that makes everything look a little bit less sharp. But with a peninsula tank, you have 2 clear panels of glass that reflect light back onto your inhabitants with nothing to absorb or dull the lighting. And with that, suddenly everything feels opened up. Your fish look like they're floating in thin air, and your corals stand out and really grab your attention. Now this is something you might find hard to accept until you see it in the flesh. When you look through a normal tank end on, you don't quite get the same effect. In fact, I've always found that angle to be quite unflattering in my previous tanks. But I guarantee you'll be amazed at how much better a reef tank looks with 2 clear panels to see through. Owning a reef tank ultimately boils down to how good it looks. A peninsula tank against a wall makes your fish and corals look noticeably more visually appealing than a normal tank, and that alone is reason enough to do it. Now in the interest of balance, I will do a video next week telling you why you might not want to get a peninsula up against a wall. So subscribe and hit the bell for that video. If you enjoyed the video then, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for future content, and in the meantime check out some of my other videos. Until next time then, happy reefing.